Wanderlust, a strong desire or urge to wander or travel and explore the world.
What's up, YouTube world? Welcome back to my channel. And today I've got another new video for you guys. I'm going to be going over my trap bucket and all of its contents. A lot of things have changed since last trapping season when I used that hiking bag as a way of carrying all of my trapping supplies. Trapping season here in Georgia started on December 1st, which was 17 days ago. I still have yet to get any still on the ground. That's all going to change next week though. Stay tuned and I'll show you everything in my bucket. So this is my trapping bucket that I made at the very end of last trapping season. As I mentioned a while ago, I carried that pack. I didn't want to ruin it. It's my hiking pack, so I got this bucket and I turned it into a trap bucket. And so I'll just show you with this bucket what I've done to this. So basically I took a normal bucket and I drilled 4 holes, 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top, and I put 2 eye hooks. And on those eye hooks, I attached these backpack straps so that I can carry it like a backpack. And originally, I had a lid that I would put on top that also had 2 eye hooks. I could tie stuff to it, but as I started making my own anchors, the lid wouldn't fit and all the stuff I carried just got overburdened. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over everything I have on the outside of this bucket, and then we'll go over the contents on the inside. This skirt that I have on here is made by Husky. I picked it up at my local Home Depot. I believe it was advertised as an electrician apron for a bucket, and it originally had a piece that fit down on the inside of the bucket with more pockets, and it was just getting in the way of what I was trying to do on the inside. So I ended up cutting it and then just tying a piece of rope around to it to hold it tight. So I guess we'll start over here on this side. So I just have a regular garden spade, a pair of scissors for blending traps. I don't really do any field trapping around here. I wish I did, but this would be good for cutting grass to blend the trap bed in. But I use it for other things like cutting pine straw and such. This is a sod blade, so it's got a saw on one side, a root cutter here, and then it's kind of concave, so it digs as well as this does. I use this one a lot to retrieve my earth anchors. And then I carry a saw. You never know when you may need to cut some branches or whatever else, so that's been handy in there. In this pocket here, I keep some latex gloves. I don't always wear them. I probably should. If the animal looks extremely nasty, I'll throw them on. Usually, I haven't had to do it but once or twice. I got a pipe in here that's been cut on the end, sharpened. I can drive into the ground. And they call this the pipe set. You just put your lure and stuff down on the inside. I used it for a little while last season. I didn't have any luck with it, so we'll see what happens this season. This is my catch pole. State of Georgia requires that you have a catch pole. It's law. So instead of buying one, I made my own PVC pipe and some metal wire I had. And basically, this will extend to the size of any animal that I could catch. It's pretty short, so you got to be careful, especially with like if you plan on releasing a coyote, which I don't know why you would, but you wouldn't want to get right up on it with this short pole. So I have a longer pole over there on the wall. But the reason I like this one is because I can break it down. I can, you know, wind it up like this. And then it stores in here out of the way. And I don't have to have it, I don't have to carry it in my hand. And that opens up my hand to do other things. In here I have some window screen, a box of nails, and some staples. The window screen I used last season as pan covers. They worked okay. I had the screen laying around, so that's why I used it. I will probably use them again this year. They're pre-cut, and they already have the notch for the dog. However, in this next pocket over, I have some cotton balls that I think I'm actually gonna swap to for pan covers. A lot of guys I've been seeing use polyfill. I didn't want to buy polyfill, and I had this at the house, so we're gonna end up probably testing this out and see how well it works. And then in this, I have a small hatchet that I've done a little bit of work to. This is good for sharpening sticks or driving stuff. I do have a trapping hammer, but I used this quite a bit last season. So I went ahead and put it back in for this upcoming season. Just put this stuff back in here. So starting on this side, this is an old cooking oil bottle that was just sitting around. I emptied out. It's got regular corn, apple corn, and dog food mixed into it. This is the combination of bait that caught every raccoon I caught last season. There wasn't many, but the fact of it is that's what happened, or that's what I used to catch them. Coyote urine, you can see it's running a little low. I'm gonna order some more of that. This is FPS baits and lures. It's been a pretty good urine, so check that company out. I carry Q-tips in here for digging out the bait and the urine, or the bait and the lure. It's a little bit of fish oil. This is Linen's. Linen makes a lot of good stuff. I don't own anything else of theirs, but this fish oil has been great. Sheep's wool. Then I've got some FPS, long distance call lure, and FPS fox and coyote magnet. These smell horrible. They're loud. They were in every set that I caught on last year, so I would assume that they work. And then on the inside of the bucket, which we'll get to next, I do have some more bait that I use, and you guys hang out. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, now that we've gone over everything on the outside of the bucket, we'll go over the contents on the inside. So the first thing on top is knee pads. A lot of guys carry little foam pads to put their knees on when they're digging the trap beds. I prefer to use knee pads. They work just as well. Easier for me. I purchased this at the very end of last season. I've got the battery on charge over there, but basically in conjunction with this 2-inch auger, I can use this as a faster way to create my dirt hole sets. And one of the things that I've learned about the drill, especially here where I trap, is it likes to catch rocks and roots really bad. So even though it seems like it's a lot easier, it's almost still just as easy to use the trapping hammer. I keep it just in case. This is something that I just added today. It's a DeWalt stapler. It can also use nails. Somehow I haven't figured out the nail thing yet, but I got this for another project for here around the house, but I figured it'd be a good addition to the trap bucket so I can staple feathers or squirrel tails or deer tails or whatever to bobcat sets. I do plan on trying to catch a couple bobcats this season. So in this bag, I have some tuna for raccoon sets. This is the FPS 3 Meat Supreme Predator bait. This stuff is loud as well. Pretty potent. Then down in this bag, I have some rope, a screwdriver to help set the pan tensions and the dogs, a little stick, an older pair of scissors, pair of pliers. I had a couple problems last year with some pans and stuff being bent. That helped to straighten everything out. And then some carabiners, a pulley, and some ropes with slip knots tied in them. This configuration combined with this rope makes a gambrel. So a couple of my sets last year were a few miles into the woods, and everything I do is walking. So I didn't want to carry whole animals out. I would hang them up and skin them in the middle of the woods. That worked well, so I keep it in the bucket. You never know when you're going to need it. And so there's that. And so this is the trapping hammer. Just basically a hammer with an angled piece on it for digging. And then this is flared on the bottom to actually stab in the dirt and twist. And then the dirt piles up in there. You can pull it out and it leaves a dirt hole. Tried and true way to make a dirt hole set. A pair of trapping gloves to handle the coyote sets with. I've got 3 of these homemade stakes. Basically, I just took a threaded piece of rod, 2 lock nuts and a washer, put a little spot weld at the top to hold everything in place. These work well for smaller traps, like foothold traps for raccoons and dog proofs for raccoons. I never had a single raccoon pull these out of the ground last season. I most definitely would not use these for anything bigger than a raccoon, but for the smaller animals, they work. Here is a earth anchor driver. Same thing, just a bigger piece of threaded rod, ground down the end with a slit so that the earth anchor could fit in there. 2 nuts on the top that have been welded, and that way you don't mess up the bar. It gives you a bigger area to smash with the hammer. This works well. This is my second one. The first one I had, I hit some hard rocks and bent the rod. So the rest of this stuff down in here, I have stacked in at the moment the way that I imagine myself putting them out next week. And so we'll start with this. This is a Duke 550 Professional Series trap. It's got the more heavy duty dog, night latched, larger pan. It is offset, and the offset allows these tabs on the end to come up more, to have more of a lockup. I keep an earth anchor attached to it so that it's ready to go. All I've got to do is set it. These traps were bedded once at the end of last season. They still have the wax and the dye and everything on them, so I'm not even going to do anything with them to get them ready for next week. I'm just going to send them the way they are. And I have 2 of them. I do have an idea. As my first set, I'm going to set a double. And these 2 are going to be the doubles. Then I have a single long spring and a double long spring. These are for smaller animals. I do plan on setting these for a raccoon. I tried to set these last season. I never had any good luck with them. I think I was bedding them wrong. These are bedded a little bit different than the regular foothold traps. Then I have this. This is a Duke number 2. This is one of the first traps that I ever bought. I picked it up from Bass Pro. It's been dyed and waxed a few times. I caught my first 2 coyotes on 2 of these. As you can see, it's got an earth anchor on it. This is going to be used for bobcat. So I have the earth anchor on it. That way it's a little more protection from the cat running off of the trap. And then the last trap I have is the handy and trusted dog proof. This is a Duke. I caught a lot of coyotes on this last season. I'm sorry, a lot of raccoons on this last season. It's been bold. I haven't dyed it or anything. I just left it the color it was powder coated when I got it. It's the only one I have. I should probably order a few more, but it works for now. And then just the regular old pan sifter. And then in the bottom of this bucket, I've got probably 2.5, 3 inches of wax dirt that I made last season. I've also got a wheelbarrow full of wax dirt that's been sitting. I very rarely use this stuff, only if the ground's super wet. And it gives something to be able to cover the bed with before I blend. So I'm going to pack all this stuff back up, and then I'll get back with you guys. All right, so there you have it, folks. That's my trapping bucket. Here's a little bit of a better look at the way I did the hooks. And then the straps. This setup, the way it is currently with it fully loaded, is probably roughly 40 pounds. And this is just a loadout to get me started. And I'll have all those traps in the ground. So once all those heavy traps get out of there, it'll be a lot easier to carry. Now, this is kind of my little corner in the storage building here of trapping supplies. I have a live trap there that I made last season for rabbits and squirrels and such. A burner and a pot, wax dye, and then I have more traps, earth anchors, another catch pole, some feathers, a CD. Here are 2 more Duke number 2s. I'm going to be using these guys and probably a couple of these 1.5s. Also over the Christmas holidays, but I'm probably going to be using them on a separate trap line. So I've been lucky enough to have a couple people tell me that I could come trap their property, or they know property that I can get permission to. So I'm gonna try to have at least 2 trap lines going over the Christmas holiday. The one here at the house is obviously going to be the easiest one to set up, and the one that I'm going to focus the most on. The secondary one, it may change from property to property. I may go put out some traps for a few days. If I don't hit on anything, I may swap it up to some other properties. I would really like to find some fields to trap. So I'm kind of in the process. I know a few people that live around some farmlands. Kind of in the process of trying to gain some permission to do that. Usually what you'll find is most old farmers will be willing to allow you to trap simply for the fact that you're doing him a favor by getting rid of the predators, especially if he's got chicken farms or cattle farms. You know, those coyotes will come in there, and the fox too. It killed the chickens and the calves. So working on gaining some permission to some new lands. But I'm stoked to get still in the ground. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Any questions or comments, let me know. And thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.